How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Sunday, July the 27th, 2025. It's your man, Big D, and I'm back with another one. Want to thank all you good folk out there in YouTube land for continuing to rock out with my son and I. He and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you. Well, family, I am back with another video on this beautiful Sunday, July the 27th. And this one is for the gentlemen. Gentlemen, specifically, you have to be very careful when you are dealing with today's modern woman. You have to be very careful who you share your resources with. You have to vet them. You have to look at what they're about, the things they are into. Because if you choose unwisely, you may find yourself in a situation with the woman where you are giving 90% of your energies and she's only giving 10% in return. And let me tell you how this 10% is camouflage. It's camouflage, obviously giving you the box, obviously giving you the throat. And maybe now and again, they'll cook you a meal. But you got to ask yourself, how does that equate? How does that 10% equate to the 90% that you are giving? See, oftentimes, women who have, in their mind, they are alpha females, right? So in their mind, they are the ones that are picking and choosing the dudes that they're sleeping with. So when you have a woman who has that alpha female mindset and she thinks that she can move like a man, so now what happens? She starts collecting bodies. She starts collecting sexual partners. And more times than not, these men that she gave her womb to, they were regular degular men. What I mean by regular degular men, basically, all they had for her was hard meat and bubble gum. And unfortunately, y'all already know they're always out of bubble gum. So we have to be ever so careful, man, because when we get intertwined with women who move like that and think like that, you as a good man, you as a decent man, you as a man that have worked your ass off to get to a certain level of life where now you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, where now you can live anywhere you want and still have a decent life. And you accomplished all of this without a woman. Not very men can say, not very men of a certain age, of a certain level of wealth, who has owned houses, sold houses and whatnot, and made power moves. They did it all by themselves. Very few. Yeah, I know a lot of married men that can say, "Oh yeah, me and my wife, we done owned and bought and sold, a number of houses and whatnot, and this and that and that and this, and we don't have no debt, we don't owe nobody, but it's always we." My good sir, my question is this. If it weren't for that woman income, could you have done it by yourself? Probably not. But when you have men who have gotten it out the mud, off of the strength of the grind, and they done it all by themselves, ain't want no woman around, now we talking. But it's those kind of men that may sometimes find themselves intertwined with women who have dealt with sorry ass dudes that was okay settling for less in their prime, but now in their decline, now they expect a decent man, a good dude, to come along and just save the day. Gentlemen, you have to be ever so careful. Do not find yourself in a situation where you are giving more than what you are receiving. Listen, You don't let them bamboozle you with that little box. And just cause you can get the box 6 ways of Sunday any ways you want it, that ain't enough. It has to be something more tangible than some vagina, some throat, cooking a meal here and there every now and again. It's got to be something more consistent and tangible, something that can be weighed, something that can be measured. See, the problem is this, gentlemen. When women have become so dull when it comes to her sense of discernment, her sense of discernment has become so dull where she can't determine a good dude from a lame dude, a winner from a loser, a man that's got character. So what? So it took you to go through your 20s and 30s, and now you're in your 40s. Now you got it figured out. But yet and still, you still treating a good man that you got in your life any old type of way. And really and truly, now this good dude asking himself, what am I getting out of this situation that nobody else didn't get, but they didn't have to put in shit? Them other dudes ain't Pookie and Nook and Ray Ray and them boys ain't have to do nothing but just ish out hard meat. Long as that stroke was long and strong. And here's the thing, because they're alpha female, and because they choosing little Dank, little Pookie to blow their bike out because they think they made the choice, or they think they winning. Because in their mind, oh, I'm an alpha female. I can do what a man do. Yeah, okay, try it and see what happens to your ability to pair bond. Once you get to a certain number of men, your ability to pair bond is going to be eviscerated. So we have to be ever so careful, gentlemen, because it is very easy to find yourself as a successful man caught up with some bullshit, especially in today's times. Listen, the women of old that stood on business, that had character, morals, seen things from a different lens, those women are no longer in existence. They no longer exist, gentlemen. And what you have now is women that can be oftentimes selfish. If they have children, in particularly boys, sons, they're going to always put that son ahead of you. If you choose to, deal with a woman that has children. Or you got these boss babes, these corporate America chicks who think they alpha females, and because in their mind, all them dudes that they was getting their womb to when they was when they was young and vibrant, still had endless possibilities. You just effed your younger years away. And now you sitting at 40. It don't matter if you got kids or not, because there's a lot of them alleged boss babes out there, corporate America women, these alleged alpha women that don't have no kids. But here's the thing. Okay, so you don't have no kids. All right. Well, that just means you were careful. That don't mean you wasn't getting your bike blowed out. You weren't getting your vagina disintegrated. Worked 6 ways a Sunday. Don't mean that. It just means you was careful. And them the ones that you really got to worry about, because the ones that are careful, who knows how many bodies they really caught. That's right. See, them girls, see the women that have children, you can kind of gauge, based on how many kids they got, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of gauge how many bodies they caught. Now, to make no beans about it, one chick with one kid, that don't mean she ain't caught over 50 bodies. I'm not saying that, but at least you will have some type of there should be some telltale signs. But when you have a woman who have 0 kids and she was that cautious and careful, kudos to her. because she had enough wherewithal not to bring a child into an effed up situation with a little Pookie. Kudos to her. But now, because you don't have any children, what happens when you're 83 years old and you're not married? Because oftentimes these corporate babes, these boss bees, they're not married. So what happens? You have no kids, you're not married. What do you do then? And for you to have kids, you're not married, you better hope that your kids amount to something so that at least one of them or all of them will have the financial means to look out for you when you are up in age. So gentlemen, you got to be careful, because you'll find yourself entangled with a woman who really and truly, she really only giving you 10% and you contributing 90%. Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.